I believe you actually need to operate by the platinum rule, treating people the way that they want to be treated. And so it's connecting with them on an individual level, understanding what their needs and motivations are, what are they looking for, and who are they as a whole person.
Geri, welcome to the show. How are you?
Wonderful. Thanks for having me, Chris.
Nice to see you. I feel like I'm like in your music store right now with all the records behind you. If people can't see behind you, it's full of records, one of them being Daft Punk. And is this in your office? Where are you right now?
Yeah, so we're in Atlanta right now at the Intellum office. This is our music room.
Nice.
So we've got lots of instruments and we can jam and rock out and be creative. So this is a big part of, our culture is to
Amazing.
Celebrate music. Yeah, super fun.
Is it soundproof, the room? Because is it like music times where people can play? Otherwise, imagine I'm sure they can't be rocking out all day in the office. After hours?
Yeah, that's after hours, exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I'm about to say, right, I can imagine some of the sales team or the rest of the other members of the team wouldn't be too pleased if someone was rocking out during the day. But how you been anyway? It's been a while since we last spoke.
Doing awesome. Things have been really exciting. We've made a lot of progress. I'm newer to Intellum, so I've been with the organization for 10 months, and I think we've been able to accomplish what I've done in multiple years with other teams and other organizations. So I'm super pumped about this year. Couldn't be feeling better, honestly.
Amazing. Probably good for the audience then. Tell them a little bit more about you and your background and sort of the journey and why you joined, and then a little bit about the business.
Yeah, happy to. So I'm Geri Morgan, and I am one of those people and culture professionals that chose this career on purpose. Yes. So one of the few, I didn't fall into it. And I knew right after college that I wanted to focus on HR, connecting people with the businesses, and really enjoy the variety, seeing the full cycle that our role offers. And I believe we're the secret ingredient to every company, is being able to focus and connect the people with the operations. So out of college, I started with the Kroger Company, which is a world-class retailer here in the US, and was able to be part of their leadership development program, and really saw how you could bring the core values to life in a way that your customers even notice your values and the importance of employee engagement and training. From there, I focused in the technology space. So I've worked within pharmaceutical technology, real estate technology spaces, and have had a lot of fun putting together some fantastic people-first cultures. And we've been recognized as top workplaces. And then taking me to where I'm at today, I serve as the Chief People Officer for Intellum. And Intellum is a single destination for all things education. So whether your audience is internal teams, customers, or partners, we have a SaaS platform that helps design learning initiatives from the ground up. It allows you to track, engage your audience, all kind of through that single destination, which is super unique.
What was it that attracted you personally to the business?
So the team is what attracted me. So I was impressed by the product and what I learned about the organization. The mission connected to me on a personal level. So our mission is to improve the way the world learns. So that connected me. And then once I had a chance to meet team members and really feel and build off of that energy, I knew this was going to be the next opportunity for me to just really help them with their goals and what they were trying to accomplish. It was just a perfect fit from that.
Well, on that point, I know one of the things we was going to talk about is job fulfillment. And, we all know that employees now are seeking more than just a job. They want fulfillment, right? They want it to be connected with their why and their purpose. How do you think that's going to shape HR moving forward?
My advice is to always focus on the foundation. I'm a very visual person. So the pyramid, the foundation of your company and your culture and how people can feel connected, which drives that job fulfillment, is your mission. I shared with you, that was a really driving force of why I joined Intellum, is people want to work for a place that has that strong purpose, that compelling mission, something that's going beyond just helping drive profit. profits, it's helping the community, the environment, the world around them. And then on top of that is your behaviors or those core values. Those things need to be not just signs on the wall, things displayed in your office or on your virtual environments. They actually need to be lived. And so really making strategies around what does the mission mean for everyone, training and activating your managers to talk about the mission and the values, providing examples of what that looks like. That's really going to help drive that fulfillment. I think also another element, so it's, kind of moving up the pyramid. So you've got your mission, your values, now is like the skills and getting to the core of the role. So upskilling and reskilling and the investment that you're making as an organization and professional growth and development. One of the things that we talk about in terms of like the job fit and a motto that I use to connect this with our leaders is that we want to be an organization where people feel excited for Monday, or our team members are made for Monday. So Monday. It's, yeah. I mean,
you need a made for Monday merch. You definitely need a made for Monday Intellum t-shirt, 100%.
All right, we need to roll that out. But like the Sunday scaries, the Monday morning blues, those are a real thing. LinkedIn actually did a study earlier this year, and I think it was like 80% of people feel stress just going into Mondays. And so that's not a good place to live. That's not creating engagement or fulfillment. How can we be a different type of culture? How can we connect with people and get them excited about Monday, providing that environment where they know that the work that they're doing is making a difference, that they're feeling valued, and focusing on those team members and what their personal needs are to get them excited for Monday morning.
Where do you see companies make mistakes when it comes to that? What can they do different?
I think that it's not a one size fits all. And so that's where I think people make mistakes. They treat people the same way and consistent. So it's almost like the golden rule. You treat everyone the way that you want to be treated. But I believe you actually need to operate by the platinum rule, treating people the way that they want to be treated. And so it's connecting with them on an individual level, understanding what their needs and motivations are, what are they looking for, and who are they as a whole person. And then that will create that avenue, a roadmap for that person on how you keep them engaged, how you recognize, reward them, and then creating that beautiful, magical, made for Monday culture.
Firstly, golden rule to platinum rule, is that a Geri Morgan original? Or did you steal that from someone?
No, I heard that at a conference and I just really liked it.
No, it's good. I'm going to use it now. It's going to stick with me too. I was like, wow, that's really good. Like, it's the common misconception of treat everyone how you want to be treated, but it's like, no, treat everyone how they want to be treated. To your point, have that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, it goes to career planning and development, a thing that we're doing a lot as HR leaders. You can also apply it to communication. The way that you're delivering feedback or simply sending an email, there's little tweaks that you can make based off of that individual and their preferences as it relates to communication. So it really can apply across the whole spectrum of the things that we're working on a daily.
Yeah, no, I love that. How are you connecting that with employee well-being in terms of how you think about that and prioritize that?
Yeah, I mean, there is that. It's a perfect segue to employee well-being for sure, because different people have different needs. And so the pandemic, kind of ripped off the Band-Aid and said, like, there's stress in our personal lives, and that shows up in the workplace. People during the Great Resignation chose to quit or were quiet quitting, and really put the pressure on organizations to say, how are we focusing well-being? How are we coming up with well-being strategies, and what are we doing and providing to our team that supports that? We need to be preparing those strategies and developing those approaches. And I think there's growing desire and demand for alternative work lifestyles. So we did a pilot at my former employer around a 4-day work week. And based off of that, it was like 80% of people said they would not want to go back to 5 days a week
I bet
in this
they did.
pilot program. Yeah. And of that, it was even like 20% said no amount of money would even, so it wasn't even a compensation thing. Like I wouldn't go back to the 5-day work week if you gave me a 20% increase. That wasn't even enough motivation. And so it's understanding those different needs.
How did that affect business though? Did they see an increase or decrease in productivity in terms of deliverables?
I mean, it's not going to be the fit or the solution for everyone. And so each team and every department has different needs, but we need to understand as an organization, what does work-life fit mean? It's not work-life balance anymore. It's this whole integration of who are we and what are our unique needs. So kind of going beyond just the basic benefits that we provide. I always recommend asking your team members, starting with a simple survey to say, what does well-being or wellness mean to you? That will help inform what possible solutions those teams and those groups or pockets of people are looking for. And then you have unique almost menus of well-being initiatives or well-being offerings that are available across those departments. So some in more of a customer-facing role, they might have more defined schedules. Or if you're in a product support role, you may have to be on call. But there are other solutions that can help support the overall well-being. And you just have to work with those leaders to get creative. So that 4-10 schedule isn't going to work for everyone, but maybe it's every other Friday, there's a half day. And so maybe you can be creative with more of that work-life integration.
Yeah.
There's policies like unlimited PTO and some investment in offering things for career development and advancement. So that also from a well-being, a lot of people are wanting to see that there's a career path. And so what are those resources or investments that you have available for those individuals that is what wellness looks like to them. So it's a personalized approach and we need to be leaning in to starting to figure out what are the well-being strategies because it's going to show up in poor engagement, poor productivity, and high turnover if we fail to recognize that individuals are demanding more well-being options from us.
It's interesting you say like a lack of clarity on someone's career path is impacting people's well-being, right? I don't think we made that connection.
That's a great point because it is this holistic, it's the whole person. So it's the physical or emotional wellness, which, I think we think of most often, but there's the professional wellness, there's, financial wellness. So it's really beyond just like those benefits, EAP, but it's other elements, even what's surrounding us in the media, that has an impact on our overall wellness. Right now, you can't ignore AI and the buzz that's going on about AI. And for some of our team members, AI is a threat. And so helping people feel safe and comfortable with how the organization is using or evolving their technology and use cases of AI. But, AI could also be a tool that can help with well-being. It can transform those tasks, automate those for us, allowing us to develop new skills, use new skills, and add value in different ways. So it really comes down to us and the story that we're telling, how we're showcasing some of these threats or these things that are going on in our lives and around us, and being personalized with, some of those situations and helping to find some solutions, talking about it and educating our leaders to be able to have these conversations too.
Yeah. Now more than ever, we need to support our managers and leaders. It was hard enough before. You add hybrid and remote teams, as well as looking after their own personal day-to-day deliverables and well-being. Add that all into one. They definitely need our support and guidance right now. What do you think about moving sort of the connections, because and building relationships and connections with employees as we go more and more remote? How do you think that relationship is going to change between the employee, employer, and how we communicate?
So I think this is still so important. It is the first word in our job titles, humans. So we're there to focus on enhancing those connections, even beyond, the types of work environments or settings. So some of the things that we're working on to help with supporting strong connections is looking at our technology. And so what type of technology is helping us understand where people are at, in terms of goals, performance management, skills, all of that will help us understand, where people are today, what are they being recognized for, and what are we asking them to focus on. So I think technology and increasing the mindset, how are we engaging with team members is a key element of building those connections. There's some insights that can be gleaned and really can help us focus on the areas where connections are cracking. If there's a tool that can help, with a daily or a weekly check-in, how are you feeling personally, or how are you feeling in your role this week, 1 to 5, you're able to reach out and maybe prioritize your one-to-ones with first those people that checked in at a 1 or 2. They're struggling. And so I think technology can help us make sure that we're spending our times and building those connections in the way that our teams need us the most. And then it's refining our approach with the leaders too. Like you were talking about, the managers, the leaders are the core of the culture. And so how are we preparing them to have successful connections with their team members? One of the things I hate is, when we're only doing review cycles or check-ins on goals every 6 months. And it's like, okay, if you got a like on your post on TikTok or social media every 6 months, is that going to be satisfying and fulfilling for you? So we just have to be receptive to the evolving needs of our team members. Communication and the frequency needs to be rapid, real time, and needing to get the right attention at the right time on different topics. And so really dedicating the time to focus on building connections and giving managers the access and the tools to be able to do that. There was a recent Gallup study that found that only 23% of employees are engaged at work, which is terrible to think about. So that's
pretty shocking.
One less than 1 of 4. So, I think that building those connections can help us be, not one of those statistics. We're highly engaged team members and having meaningful connections across the organization. So it's, again, taking the mission vision, having that purpose-driven culture, but then personalizing it with those connections, the goal setting, and the manager relationships. It's really going to help foster a higher performing culture. One of the other things that we love to do is getting our team members together on their common interests too. So
in the music room. So rocking out after work together.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that can be done in hybrid environments. When you do have team members in a common setting, you can do that virtually through other workshops, building a succulent garden, together, or later this month in support of our creativity core value, we're having origami making classes together. And so different things like that require very little investment of time. You're bringing people together to build those connections. We also have common interest channels too that help people connect on different topics like gardening and book clubs, parents groups, where you can show off all your finger painting masterpieces. So, again, it's like that well-being, it all kind of comes together with creating those opportunities for people to connect.
Yeah, no, I love that. And you made a point there, like a lot of times we think there needs to be these really expensive solutions or technologies, but you mentioned so many simple things. Sometimes they have the most impact. and build the strongest bonds.
One element of the Intellum culture that I love is our culture council. And so we have team members that apply to be on this group, this annual planning group that organizes all of these events. And so they have the budget and they really get to present and bring to life these events across the organization. So they're always new and changing, and it's a highly desired function within the company because you're bringing those connections, you're making those memories for your team members. So I think those are also simple ways that you can focus on the engagement level and creating those opportunities for connections.
I love the idea of the culture council because then it doesn't kind of feel like another HR initiative or like or a business initiative, right? It's like it feels like it's the voice of the true voice of the employees through the culture council. And then you, of course, then use, I'm sure, I'm only guessing, you can benefit from that diversity of thought, perspectives, backgrounds, insights on the council. Create these, right? Because a lot of leadership teams and leaders think they know what their employees want, but sometimes they're the most disconnected. So having a culture council was great. And giving them the budget and flexibility.
One of the unintended consequences is it also helps with skill development. So there are financial planning and marketing skills with promoting the events, negotiation skills if they're, selecting vendors or individuals to host or facilitate some of the functions. And then there's a chair. And so there's, some informal leadership opportunities for that skill development too.
Mm-hmm. What are you seeing the trends from your customers inside of the platform? Obviously, we serve HR leaders, chief learning officers, many leaders that listen and watch the show and come on. What are some of the trends that you're seeing? Things like gamification in training. Is that still something popular? Is it VR? Is it what are the things that you're hearing from clients that they want and need?
Yeah, so we haven't mastered VR yet. We've got some fun ideas along those lines, not just the gamification, because I think that all started, Candy Crush and, Apple Watches with hitting your rings and reading certain number of books over time. So there was those smaller incentives that, I think now are just part of our everyday life. But it's really a step further to that. And what our clients are using and what we're using internally is reputation-based gamification. And so it's not just rewarding the learners with badges or certificates of completion, it's actually showing off the skill level. So you've mastered something and you've achieved a level of mastery that supports something unique and special. So it's not everybody gets the badge or the certification in that area. It's something that requires higher level of knowledge to complete. So it could be Excel. So being able to show off who are your masters in that, or who has implemented an innovative idea. So it allows you to identify kind of who has achieved that reputation for that topic or for that skill set. And so that is a huge piece. There's also a lot of micro-learning and more development around those shorter learnings. So it's the bite size, anything less than 5 minutes on those micro-learning experiences. And I think that really hits back to our well-being conversation, that we need flexibility. We need to meet people where they're at, and we're competing for their time and attention with so many other areas. So let's incentivize and break things down into these smaller micro-learning sessions.
Kind of like the YouTube Shorts or like Instagram Reels. In them, like get to the point. Tell me what it is. I feel like the new generation coming through also gonna demand that as well. They're not gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna sit here and watch an hour-long session. Like you're gonna lose them. Don't get me wrong, they will watch that if they're really, really interested in it. But if you want to capture people's attention, go to them rather than try and pull them to you. If they're already consuming content in that way, then you need to create that the same way. What are you kind of seeing right now in terms of sort of the wider labor market in your space and how that's going to change as we move into 2024?
Yeah, there's been a chronic shortage in labor and skilled talent. And I think this is a lot coming out of the layoffs that have been really prevalent in the tech space. There's a lot of talented people in the labor pool right now, and it's leading to a flood of applicants. I'd say that we're seeing hundreds of applicants for our postings, and maybe 10% meet the criteria that we're identifying in the role. So some of the things that I think those that are leading and aware of this they're starting to look at new talent pools and training for the skills that are needed. So the upskilling, not only existing team members, but thinking about upskilling in the hiring process. I really liked the podcast that you had recently with Chandra Sanders. And so that was all about upskilling as a key part of that talent recruitment strategy. And how we're going to be successful in the future. I mean, the truth is that we have a aging workforce, and so we need to start future proofing because it's going to be a greater shortage. So it's not going to stop. And the other thing that we can do is continue to watch and incorporate AI in the workplace, not so much on the recruiting process, but in the workplace to help balance with the skill set and reviewing job descriptions to identify what are those tasks and where can technology help deliver on that. And then that allows you to focus on what are the real skills that you need, kind of what's the remainder of the role responsibilities, and that helps you identify the right person. We can train for the tasks or we can leverage technology, but what are those core skills that we need for the other things that we don't see that we'll be able to leverage technology to help with?
Yeah, and like you said earlier, it also frees you up more to focus on the human. And is that something that you're seeing in the way that you and your own team work? Now you've been able to automate a lot of that traditional HR process?
It's an evolving process. We're still working on figuring out how we can leverage AI in our processes and automating it. This year's been a lot of technology reviews and assessments for us. So we've implemented a couple new technologies already. We're in the process right now of a technology assessment. So that's something that we're really leaning into. And in these vendor assessments, we're asking, what is your roadmap? How are you incorporating AI? What does that look like? And so really putting some pressure on the vendors too to say, how can you help me focus where I want to be focusing, which is, building connections, supporting the managers, supporting the teams. So I think that is something that's allowing us to, in the future state, to spend more time. But we've been leveraging a lot. We've been able to do more because we're leveraging technology to help with some of those tasks, and when opportunities present itself for, presentation development, analysis, tons of communication. We've been able to put more out, which has been great because that's more of an engaging and a continuous cycle of information, kind of like the goal analogy. Like we can't just offer events or messaging or even internal chances for communication once, every month. All right, now we can put things together once a week. So we're able to offer more and complete that engagement cycle more frequently.
Love it. I'm sure there must be some pressure from customers as well, right? Given what you do and offer as a business from an AI perspective because I can see a lot of use cases in your product of how AI can have an impact.
Yeah, AI is a huge part of our product roadmap. We have an entire team in our engineering group that is dedicated to AI and machine learning. We were able to participate just recently in one of our biggest clients' hackathons, and it was focused on AI. And so we presented 2 solutions that were very well received. So I can't share all the details about.
Oh, you can't spill the beans. Oh, okay, fine. Fine.
No, we're really excited about how AI will be folded into the product to allow our clients and customers to do even more and kind of get some best practices built in.
Last question before I let you go. We covered a lot in 30 minutes, by the way. And you're still got the coffee still hasn't worn off. You're still full of energy. I love it. What advice would you give to sort of the CPOs, CHROs of the future? Those that are going to be sitting in your seat one day, probably a whole new set of challenges along the way. What advice would you give to them? And then we'll say goodbye.
All right. So my advice is to focus on building those connections, expanding your network, not just within your organization, but also spend time, dedicate time on getting to know your network outside of your organization, and reverse mentoring. That's something that I wish I would have had that advice a long time ago, being able to spend time, at all levels throughout the organization, mentoring, graduates or college students and getting feedback from them. So that's, I think, a key piece is helping you stay connected as an HR leader to the needs of the emerging workforce as well.
That's a good point, because we always talk about mentorship as someone above, but reverse mentorship is just as important, being connected from the next generation coming through.
Right. Yeah. It helps you be a little more proactive.
Yeah. You want to see into the future and the past, because a lot of mentorship comes from top down. And in this kind of, yes, it's really valuable, but a lot of the insight is from previous perspectives and a time which was very different, versus the new generation, as we just discussed during the episode, right? Have different expectations coming through.
You're so brilliant, Chris.
Yeah, no, don't give me too much credit. Where can people connect with you if they want to reach out and say hi?
Please connect with me on LinkedIn. Would love to keep growing and expanding the network, and hope to see you at some of the events coming up.
Yeah, and the business, what's the best place for them to check out the business and learn about what you do?
Intellum's got we have a TikTok page, so you could follow us for some fun stuff there, our LinkedIn, and you can subscribe to our newsletters. We have learning science and other industry-specific publications, so please check us out. And,
I love the fact that you led with the TikTok. That's amazing. That just says everything, right? That you're already there. You're already thinking ahead. Listen, it's been a pleasure. Super fun, and I wish you all the best until next week. Thanks for saying.
Likewise. Thanks, Chris. What an honor.